Okay, so today's little task is, apart from cleaning the Hayabusa, making my own Undertray for the Gsxr project. The old Undertray just won't fit with my new subframe, which I found needs a bit more welding, tidy it up, so another job on the list. I could manipulate it to fit, but I think it will just end up looking like shit. So I'm going to make my own Undertray, which I've started out of 0.9 steel. There you go, it gives me plenty of room inside for all the electronics and everything. So the Undertray will finish about here. Which is about here on the inside, so it will come up and then the rear light will be fitted into that, so it will be inside the two arms but just poke out enough that it should be seen from side to side. Hopefully. It's all in the early planning stages at the moment. So I did some measurements. The coil spring at the moment is 7 inches in height, which is what, 175 mil. Each coil of the spring, the thickness of the metal used is 10 mil. So if that was compressed to its fullest, there's about 5 coils. So if it was compressed to its fullest, you'd still have 50 mil that wouldn't move. So overall, maximum it can move is 125 mil. Which is your 5 inches, which I need that room just to make sure on that sort of arc, because obviously the swing arm will arc as it comes up. So on that sort of arc I need like at least 5 inches. This at the moment is getting on for 7 inches. The ruler itself is 6 inches to there, and then you've got at least an inch there. It says 3/4 of an inch, whatever, about 7 inches on that sort of arc. I'm going to put a little bit more of a curve into it, and then got to figure out how to fit the battery tray. This won't go over that because again this will arc, not by much, but there will be movement there, so I can't have the Undertray on top of that, so I'll cut it away there. I'm thinking of welding on its own little tray and then cutting this off and utilising the plastic side of this for both the battery and the ECU, which slots in there. So it is insulated really, so it's got plastic around it and foam to stop it jiggling about, and it will be insulated from arcing out and all the rest of it. It also gives me all these fitments which the relays and everything hook onto, so again all that will be utilised. I think at the moment it'll be utilised, so I need to incorporate something here that will sit into. I mean, I can trim all of this off and it will just be this section here sat on a metal base in theory. So yes, I've got to do a bit more English wheeling on this, get a bit more of a curve going. You can see it's got a fairly nice curve there already, so it wants a bit more of a curve. It's only to about here, and then this will come up as I say, for the rear lights. If I've got enough there, it'll possibly come up and go, possibly come up here and come along the top. Still got to see where my seat comes, how much of a hump I'm going to have. If I am going to have a hump, it's all in the very early planning stages. He says, having done both side rails. The other thing that's needed is some sort of cross member, but I'm not overly worried about that because the seat, where is it? The lock. This is for the rear seat. I was going to try and utilise that so I can still use the key for a quick release seat. Just turn the key and the seat will come off, rather than on the Gsxr 1000s it's actually Allen bolted down at the front, slots in at the back and then pushes down, and then Allen bolt in the front. I'm trying to change all that, so I would need something probably across here to tuck the seat in, and then to bring it down and to lock into place here. So that would mean there would be two cross structures anyway, and also the undertray would form a good cross structure. I don't think it's gonna splay out anyway, because these are absolutely solid. He says jiggling it about, but that's the plan. That is the plan. So as I say, a bit more of an arc on that, and then it needs the edges to come straight up, which will come, I'm not sure yet, probably inside this side panel. I just got to see how that looks, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to weld this to itself because it's so thin. I think I will just keep burning holes in it, but that's not going to stop me trying. If I can join the two, it would be ideal. I mean, in hindsight, I could have probably tried to make it out of one piece of metal. That would have been amazing. Yeah, anyway, that's the plan. That's the plan at the moment. So I'll crack on. Okay, so I think that's enough of a curve. That's about 7 inches, and that's off, probably away from the arc that the wheel's going to take anyway. But yeah, that's about 7 inches. So I think I'm getting somewhere with it all. The undertray's up there, and quite possibly with my marvellous welding skills, my porridge welding, do a weld all the way up here, which would combine the undertray, the side panel and the subframe, and hopefully give a nice clean line up here, which would finish that off quite nicely, give it a lot of support, because obviously it's got to take the battery, which is the, I'm not going lithium. I thought about it, but these are the batteries the manufacturer recommended. I've heard some horror stories about lithium, I've heard some good stuff about lithium. I'm going to stick with the old style battery. The only trouble is it's 4 to 5 ton. Oh, I'll just push that down. So that needs to go in there somewhere. So if I weld it all up, I think it would give, as I say, a cleaner line there and hold better. I still could put bolts through the side as an extra precaution, because my welding is shit. But yeah, something like that. I think first of all though, I've got to re-establish my centre line and put a bit more of an arch in it. A little bit more of an arch, which will bring the sides in a little bit, in theory, which won't make it as tight to get the side panels down the sides. But getting somewhere. It will make it a little bit more difficult to paint this and this different colours, because obviously this was, well, not obviously, but I was going to have it all separate, so it just bolted in. Then this was quite easily to paint separately, bolt on, after painting this one a different colour. But if it's all welded, just trying to think of any complications of having it all as one. The manufacturer decided to have a subframe and a battery tray, and let's be fair, they've got a much better understanding of what they're doing than I have. But at the moment I can't see any problems with it. The wiring comes straight in from down there, as long as this section from above is accessible to get to the wiring, to be able to get to the battery, to get to any relays. I can't see a problem with it all being in one. So yes, I'm going to put more of an arch on that, try and bring the sides in a bit, and let's say I've got thrown it away again, there it is. We've easily got 7 inches there, if not 7.5, maybe even 8 as it comes round. We've still got roughly 7 inches, and that's the arc that the swing arm's going to take, bring it up round this way. So long as I've got a 6-inch gap, at least a 6, I think it was 5 inches I measured when the old setup was on, so at least a 5 back here, and as it came up it gave 6 inches. So yeah, that should be plenty, but as I say, I'm going to put a bit more of an arch in it anyway, which will give me more clearance. So there you go, getting somewhere. Right, I'll give it a bit more arch and then see if the side panels both fit in rather nicely. Because at the moment that one's in, and that's all the gap I've got down that's all the gap I've got down that side, which I could force it in, but I don't want to be spreading the subframe apart too much. You know, I want to keep it all in there, keep it all nice. But yes, a lot of fettling and fart arsing about, but a bit more of an arch and then a refit.